All right, guys. Hey, it's Ted Bogert with the Ted Show. We've had a little bit of technical difficulties today. We're going to get past those because that's the kind of people we are. I have been trying to get this master poet, the storyteller, Lion Lambey. Did I say it Lambey right? Yes. Lion on here. And I love the title of our show, Storytelling with Lion Buyin. Can't make that up. I love it. I just love your energy. I love your posts, your social media. I love your passion for what you do. And I am just excited to expose the world to the whole scene of Master Poet and creativity and the cool things that you do. So welcome, my friend. How are you?
What's up, Teddy? What's good? Good, man.
What's
I'm
good?
good. I'm
You
good.
look good. I like your outfit. You're just
Hey, man, you know what I mean? Homemade. My mom made this. My mom made this. You know what I'm saying? Family's important
nice.
right now.
You're
I got
looking
my
good.
Ted,
Is that
I
like
got
a
my Ted
pink
jacket.
jacket?
I got my Ted jacket on.
You do, man. I mean, we almost match. You wear it better than I wear it. All right. So, for those people who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about you.
Man, just just somebody that's promoting, growth. I come from the West Coast by way of I'm a first generation American. My family migrated here from the islands, the Caribbean, Central America. Um, Ended up out here homeless for a while, but due to the VA, I got picked up. Reached out to the
That's
VA,
right.
they
Thank
picked
you
me
for
up.
your service. Thank
Thank you,
you.
my brother. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
saw that. That's why I love asking that question. We have a form. If you haven't been on the show, there's a form that everybody kind of fills out, and I asked for 3 things personal things that people want or should know about you, or I should. And veteran was one of them that you put. So huge kudos and great appreciation from my heart for your service.
Blessings, 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 blessings. Yeah.
So you were homeless, but the VA kicked in.
VA kicked in, man. VA kicked in, and I ended up being put in a transition shelter. And through that whole time, I was undiagnosed. Previous to that, I was undiagnosed PTSD, bipolar. And so through that time, I was able to receive the help and the care that I needed. You know what I mean? To be able to have a smile today, man. You know what I mean?
Have you always been a positive, creative? Have you always been a positive? Because your energy is positive. You come at it with there's a lot of levels and a lot of dimensions to you, I know, but you come at life, it seems like very positive. Bless up is in quotes right there. So that should tell people what kind of human being you are.
Well, to answer your question, I feel like I've always had positive advice, you know what I mean, and always had like positive energy on the outside, but really like deep haterism on the inside, you know what I mean, and jealousy on the inside, and not willing to follow that advice. So for me now, it's so much more now. It's just more about following my own advice, you know what I mean, and just finding my balance and my energy, and just hopefully instead of talking, people could just see it and just peep it in me and just be like, okay, that's what's up, you know. That's where I'm
And by
at
the
with
way,
it.
happy birthday.
Man, good looking. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I ain't cracking though. I ain't
No,
cracking.
no.
I ain't cracking.
You said it. I didn't. Listen. So talk about poetry because you're obviously a creative. You have you've got a creative heart and spirit. But it's one thing to be a creative, and it's another thing to go out on a limb and to really put yourself out there. I mean, Master Poet's big. We barely even use the word poet anymore. So I love everything about it. So talk about that journey a little bit. How did you realize that you had a gift or a talent for poetry?
Man, from the time I was younger, man, I spent a lot of time reading. You you know, and just understanding that like I just love words. Like it was always I was the kid when I was younger, like I would just instead of talking to somebody I like, I would just stare at them and just come up with different ways on how I could talk to them and what could I say, you know. So for me, when I was finally able to put that on paper, when I was finally able to put that on paper, man, it just blossomed, and it took a while for me to actually like step into it and just embrace it. You know what I mean?
Why
And
was that?
really,
You think it's because people are people are I mean, that's you're bearing your heart and soul when you share your poetry. With music, I feel like musicians can hide behind the musical performance, but when you're out there and you're spoken word, and we'll talk about that process, I mean, I think it's just so critical for people to understand kind of that process on how that went for you.
well, you know, when you for me, poetry is like really it's honesty. It's like truth. You know what I mean? Like I feel like in so many other genres of like creativity or entertainment, you know what I mean? Like you can kind of hide behind it or find a truth in it to kind of hold on to it and attach it to yourself. But to me, poetry, if it's not you, it's just really not you. Like if your
Right.
words is not you, everybody can feel it. It's no
Yes.
lying in poetry.
Yes.
You know, I lie in real life. Like I've been such a big liar in real life, but always, whenever I did a poem, it was like once a year I used to do a poem. So that would be like once a year I would tell the truth. And it's like, so like now I feel like the world is poetry. My life is poetry. And that's how I look at everything. So for me, everything is kind of truth, you know? That's how I feel about poetry.
What was it like the first time that you wrote something and then shared it on stage? Because what you do, talk about that, because I think people don't realize that it's one thing to sing. Look, any kind of stage performance is difficult. Like especially the first time, it's challenging because you're basically laying your whole body, soul, heart, mind, spirit out there for everyone to see. And when you're sharing spoken words, you're really sharing, and people can smell fake a mile away. We'll get to that in a minute. But what was the first performance like? You finally get the courage and you go, all right, Master Poet is in the house. This is what we're gonna do. What was that like?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, my first performance was a success. It was off the whim. So I'm gonna go with the performance that I feel like I bombed, that I feel like I messed up on. That was like my most nerve wracking. So I walk up to a park and I'm full cocky. I got 3 under my belt. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got this. This is gonna work out. And you know, I'm hanging out, I'm taking pictures. And so the lights come on, right? And I step in, and I'm avid at practicing. You know, I'm practicing. Lights come on. I step in, and I'm so nervous, but I
Sure.
didn't realize it until the lights came on. Usually, like my nervous, I'm already good at my rituals and knowing what to do to kind of bypass that. But this time, it didn't hit me until I realized how good I was doing, and I, and I looked into the crowd.
Love that. How did you know though? You felt it, right? You feel it from, if you've ever performed, anybody who's performed or shared something live on stage, you can almost immediately get the audience's tell, like, all right, I hate you or I love you. So they were obviously engaged. So whatever you were sharing, did you stress over trying to figure out what to share that first time? Because I'm sure you had a ton of material you could have shared.
I went with I usually tend to go with what I just wrote. It's just more challenging for me, and it's usually about how I'm feeling. It's usually how I'm feeling, you know. So I tend to always go. That's what I went with. I went with something I had just written, and I just felt it so much. So that's how that ended up working out. It was
I
great.
love that. I think that people, one of the things that is I've learned, uh, there's a lot of poetry out there, and people don't realize it's poetry. So, for example, rap music was something that was difficult for me, mainly because I just couldn't. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't dive deep enough. And then once you take a deep dive into the lyrics of rap music, you realize that that is a whole poetry genre that people are just framing as rap. It's beautiful words that are coming from your heart and soul. So you get up the first time, you're done, and then are you addicted at that point? You're like, hell yeah, I got to get up there 1,000 times.
Man, real quick before I answer that, you like rap music?
Well,
What's
I'm
your favorite song?
learning. I do. I'm learning. And this was the problem, and I feel like for me and the people, my generation especially,
Yeah.
if you don't take a minute to listen to the words or find out what the words are, because sometimes you don't know, right? And so it's like any music, you're trying to learn the words. If you take an extra step and really read what these artists write, it's poetry 101
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
All right, so talk about, so when you get up and you do this, were you like, all right, this is it. This is what I want to do now. I want to do this more often. I want to feel that vibe, get that immediate feedback, that audience feedback, which is so cool when you have put yourself out there. Did you automatically go, all right, this is what I want to do?
Well, I knew that's what I wanted to do. It was just I felt scared. It was dangerous. I felt like it was dangerous. I felt like it was scary. Um, just in the simple fact of it was like, man, how could I don't feel the same way anymore. You know, so how could I keep engaging people as I continue to evolve and as my life gets better? You know what I'm saying? And like
Oh,
as
so
I
let's
start
talk
to
about that.
enjoy life again.
So your first piece that you shared, that came from a place where you weren't enjoying life and loving life right at that moment. That's what you were feeling. Wasn't the most positive, but that's still what you're feeling.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
I've heard artists say that you get more motivated and creative when you are emotionally wrecked. And then when you get happy, sometimes writing from a happy place can be a challenge.
yes, definitely. Especially like I feel like if you're trying to engage new people, but what I'm starting to understand is like if people like you, right? For instance, you always like reached out and said like, "Hey, what's up?" You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like at that point when you realize that you have relationships like that with people, then you know that whatever you put out, they know it's from the heart. They know,
Yes.
you know, they know it's real, and they know it's a fleeting moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They just understand it for what it is. So that's where I'm at right now. So it's like, yo, I can put out anything, I can say anything. You know what I mean? And the people who really understand the core of me, you know what I mean, and the people who take that time to reach out, those are the people who I want to talk to, anyways, because those are the people that talk to me.
Well, those people will also be more receptive to your message. I feel like that creatives like you, sometimes your message isn't heard. We were talking about this earlier. You know, if you're at a bar and it's open mic and you're speaking your heart, you have to figure out how to speak your heart and not get completely crushed by the fact that somebody's ordering their second double vodka on the rocks and it's louder than you speaking. So there's this whole vibe that you have to go through and you have to figure it out. It's not easy because you're sharing your literally bearing your soul out there. And I call it the dinner theater problem. You know, you're at dinner theater and some guy's performing his heart out or girl is, and you got somebody asking for an extra side of sauce or now I wanted the chicken marsala. I didn't want you have to figure out how to do that. But if you have a passion like you do, that's what you do. So have you seen the your from the first one you did as you have realized your passion, has your writing changed?
Yes, it changed. I feel like it grew, and it just became like personal. Like I feel like I understand my aesthetics more. You know, as I started writing more, I started becoming more like a historian of like my family, of the people that I love, of the people that I care about, diving deep into their family and their backgrounds, understanding where certain musics come from, why I bop to this and not really to that, and you know what I mean, and just
Yes.
understanding myself. So therefore, yeah, definitely
It
is.
changes, right, as you progress, but that's the great thing about being creative. Of course, it's going to reflect. It reflects what's going on right now in your heart and your soul and your life.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people wish they had that ability to not. A lot of people, they only know roses are red, violets are blue. They get caught up in how the rhyme is going to be rather than what the message is. And I think people get so caught up. So I think there's a lot of wannabe poets out there, wannabe musicians that get so caught up in trying to make it sound perfect. But
yeah,
being imperfect is really what makes it, to me, an audience member, attractive.
definitely,
Because then
definitely.
I feel like, all right, Lion's going through the same thing I am, or he went through it, or he dealt with it. And he's expressing it, and for a lot of people, you're the mouthpiece for what they're feeling, which is really cool. We've got a great comment from, which I shared earlier, but I'll let you go back in, from a veteran too, talking about it. He's on LinkedIn Live watching. But you can reach the people. So have you ever gotten to the point where when you're performing, because it's a performance, this is it. I'm speaking. I'm bearing everything for you. Oh, imperfectly beautiful. Yes, Tanya, exactly. Um,
Love that.
when you're speaking, do you get choked up? Do you get emotional? Do you get like talk about that experience when you're on stage?
Man, that's the biggest thing for me. You know, I used to hold my poems up and read them from paper. You know, so I wouldn't get because they're so near and dear to me. And so like now, when I get choked up, when I get choked up, I just feel like I want to laugh. I want to laugh because it's usually just like a quick like lapse and like a quick focus or something, just going or wanting to speak more on something. You know what I mean? When you write,
Yeah.
like I already have what I have written down, so it's like the boundaries of the lines, you know. And it's like, man, I get choked up and I'm just like, let me just go ahead and just, you know what I mean? So it's really a process. I feel like I've been blessed with the ability to understand that nobody else knows when I'm not saying something that I didn't write. So I could just keep going.
Interesting. But I guarantee you're the type, you could share other people's work, but it would be disingenuous for you to not share what Lion is thinking. Why bless? Why bless up? What is that about? Before we get to, because I want you to perform. I guarantee you that the majority of my audience has never seen a poetry performance, a performance like you're going to do. And I use performance in a very positive way. You are mind, body, soul, all invested, and you get animated, you get
Yeah.
emotional, and so, but where did Bless Up? What's that about?
And that's just a little mantra to everybody. You know what I mean? To anybody I come across, to anybody that's trying to do anything, anybody that's trying to balance. You know what I mean? I'm not always smiling. I'm not always in a joyous mood. It takes a process for me to get here. I actually get up pretty crazy. You know what I mean? So, and some medications and stuff like that. So it takes a process. So for me, anybody who got the energy to say something good to somebody or even to say something to somebody, I'm just like, man, bless up, man, because I know it takes a lot to even acknowledge someone else's there. Which, you know what I mean?
It's so true. And I think right now we're all feeling it. If it's not the quarantine, it's people being furloughed, it's artists like you that can't get a job, that there's no jobs to be had because nobody's doing anything. There are no bars open. I mean, it's such a challenge right now for people to stay positive. But I love the fact that you just shared that you go through a process. I think people watch the show sometimes and they're like, "Oh, Lion's got it all together, man.
Hell
He's
no, I'm
got
broke.
it." Right. So this is the thing. People say this to me all the time. You got it together. No, I don't. Every minute of what I'm doing is not together. And I think there's something wonderfully broken about that that allows us to, Tanya said it, imperfectly beautiful. I think being, allowing yourself to be imperfect and realizing that not everybody is perfect, no one is perfect. It gives you a good license to go on with your life and do good things. All right. So let's talk about what you're going to share with us.
Really, it's just a rendition of a poem that I wrote um, towards my great grandmother. I mean, she was the one who gave me my name. So it's just a rendition and a poem, a rendition of a poem I wrote to her, and just a ode. What up, Jen Fries? It's just an ode to my family, to my heritage, to my background.
All right, so I'm gonna take my ugly mug away, and we're gonna be all focused on Lion. Let's do it, my friend.
Great grand, my eldest boy, he's 16. He a kind person. Sometimes I feel people hate he for that. Great grand, I feared that he had joined the army and never come back. Still, the boy intelligent and he have a way with words. Great grand, my eldest daughter, she 12. She have a way like my granny, the one from my past side. Great grand, I feared for the first dodo bird that I tell her he love her. No meaning. This gal I hurt somebody. Ay, ay, ay. She loved to read, and music is her world. Great grand, I have a next boy. He 10. This Bali favor me bad. Easy for make friends. Great grand, I afraid that he'll be the first one for make me a grandpa. And then ma tell her something like, you better hire us to your pa. We don't have no time for my nobody picnic. Still, he love for drive, and I think he'll be an entrepreneur. Great grand, my youngest daughter, she's 6. She beyond petty. But this girl only can smile. Great grand, I feared that one of them freaking pyong-pyongs are touch she kukush and drag she innocence away. Still, she loved dancing and she loved to talk to people. Great grand, I have another baby on the way. You wouldn't believe it. I hope this one have a pizza and red nappy hair like me pop. Great grand, I feared. I think the good Lord vexing me right now, because I still know marry ma. I think he'll make me baby born retarded or something like that. The good Lord funny like that sometimes, no. Never know when he'll lash your ass. As for me, I feel like my purpose is being fulfilled. Still, great grand, I feared that once my purpose is fulfilled, I will be removed from this earth and sent somewhere else to rebuild. Great grand, I feared. Bless up.
Oh my God, that was so good. Okay, so a couple of observations. First of all, couple of choked up moments. I don't know about you, but when you were speaking, I could feel it. If I was speaking like you were about my family, I love the fact that you shared that. I think it's if you cannot speak your words with the emotion that you do, I think that is sometimes where it gets lost. But you could not miss, if you were watching, how emotional that was for you and how that came from the heart. Beautiful, my friend. Absolutely beautiful. What do you want people, if there is someone out there that feels like they have a message, maybe they have done their own stuff in front of the bathroom mirror, maybe they have spoken a word or written it down, but they really want to get their message out. What can you tell them? What can they do?
To not get bogged down by the way you want to do it. Find a way to do it. Find a way to get your message out, whether it be writing, whether it be editing a bunch of videos and putting them together that says what you want to say, whether it be dancing, whether it be movements, whether it be whatever is your aesthetic, whatever you love to do, that's how you get your message out.
Yes. What do you want to do next? What's on the horizon for you? I think people will go, all right, he is gifted, no doubt about it. But then you have a message, you have talent, you have words that you want to speak. What's next on the horizon for you?
Next on the horizon for me is just continue to build on me, actually, to continue to learn and enjoy my family, my lady, my daughter, my children, and just continue to reconnect with my family and reconnect with my roots, and man, it just touch as many people as I can in my actions. That's really what's up for me.
What do you do to get in the creative space? Do you have a ritual where, I don't know, I've got a shot of something. This is not LaCroix, but if I want to get creative, I need to have something that will allow me to be creative and get outside my own head or the outside influence. What do you do?
Usually, man, it's hard for me to not be. It's. I usually, for me to get in my creative space, I would say I would just have to just stop. That's usually how I get in. The moment I stop and I just stop thinking about everything, the moment I stop doing everything, I feel like during my meditation sessions, or like, you know what I mean, when I'm smoking the L, if I'm just sit still, the minute I stop, it's like everything just started flooding. It's like the spirits couldn't wait to talk to me. You know what I mean? It's like my ancestors couldn't wait to say, hey, write this. Hey, what about this? Hey, what's up with that? You know what I mean? So that's literally, if I'm moving around, I'm doing something, then that's usually when like those juices are turned off, because I try to really be in that moment. But the minute I sit down, then it's just like, I got to do something. You know what I mean? I got to write something. I got to create something.
What's the best way for people to find you? I put your site down there, and that is an LT. But what is that the best way for people to reach you? What if do you record things? I don't know the answers to these. Do you record? Can people listen to you sharing your poetry online?
No. I record. I usually put something online depending on how I feel. You know what I mean? Then I put something online. I'm using social media more on the active side of just like seeing how my peoples are doing on the background. You know what I mean? People could definitely reach me though at anything LT Master Poet. Put LT Master Poet in Snap. You put LT Master Poet in Discord. You put LT Master Poet in anything, and and you can find me. You know what I mean? Definitely check out my website. Definitely, definitely. I want everybody to check out my website, especially you know, even if you're not even looking to talk to a poet, I would say check out my website because I have a variation of different things on there. If you look at my resume, I come from different backgrounds and everything, and I've done so many different things, and here I am doing this. So, a transition leader.
I have to tell you, you're a blessing, my friend. What a blessing to share your life and to share what's on your mind. I just think it's amazing what you do. Huge kudos to you. And I want people to follow and be inspired by you, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are holding on to their words and they're not expressing them. And so you give us a phenomenal opportunity to see how that actually works. All right, my friend, Lion, bless up, Lambey. You're a
Real
joy.
quick, Ted. Can I give a shout out to my peoples real quick?
I hope you do. Please do it.
All right, I want to give a shout out to all of my people, Belizean Massive. You know what I mean? Everybody from Don Riga all the way up to Florida. You know what I mean? All my homeboys, all the people who I have relationships with all over across America, from Afghanistan to Belize to Iraq, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Bless up, Haiti. I see you. You know what I mean? And to Black Women Be Well. Most of all, to my family, my lady, my daughter, and to all my children. I love y'all. What's up, mama?
So much love for you, my friend. Thank you so much for what you do and bring to the world. Next time you want to debut or put something out there, you know you are always welcome to come back on the show. Love the love all of your passion and your compassion. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
All right, blessings. All right, guys, we'll be back.